Brian here from Flynndogg Woodwork. So $25 isn't as much money as it used to be. Welcome to Flynndogg Woodwork. $25 is a lot. I got this one. You sure? Bye-bye. Okay. But I found a few tools under $25 that we need to take a look at. So let's not waste any time and start talking about these tools. So when I was Googling deep for this video, I found a lot of weird items that you can purchase for $25. There's all sorts of things out there. Maybe you want a butt pillow. How about a dog umbrella leash? Maybe you want a stylish cracker pillow set, a Nicolas Cage Christmas stocking, or maybe a grow a girlfriend or even grow a boyfriend. But that's not the type of stuff we're looking for on this channel. On this channel, we're looking for tools. So not only did I have to Google deep, but I also had to Amazon deep. And I actually found some tools for under $25. And I'll be honest, some of these tools are not only very important to have in your shop, but they're also very useful. So let's dig into our first tool of the day, which is something that I would have purchased even if it was more than $25. And believe it or not, this is the most expensive tool on our list today, and it is a clamp. As you can see, I've got a lot of clamps in my shop, but there's one consistent problem that I run into with all these clamps. And that problem is their length of reach. So let me grab two of my larger clamps and let's take a look at them. You see, these are my two largest clamps. And what I mean about the depth of reach of my clamps is the distance from the tip of the jaw of the clamp to the bar. And with both of these clamps, we're looking at a distance of less than 4 inches for both clamps. And I'm pretty sure if you're anything like me, you've ran into a situation where that reach just isn't long enough. And for me, this problem typically occurs in two different situations. The first is with panel glue-ups. You might have a situation like this extreme example where you're getting some bowing in the center of your glue-up. And you may try to use a clamp either on the end or the side to straighten out that bow. But with the limited reach of a standard clamp, that can become very difficult. Now, cauls can be a great solution for this, and that's something that I typically implement. Cauls can easily flatten out your panels and remove any bowing. There's also options like using spindle clamps. And these are great options as well. By attaching these to the bar of your horizontal clamps, you can cinch these down and straighten out any bow. And you can get two of those spindle clamps for about $25 as well, but that's not the clamp we're talking about today. And that's because the limited reach of my clamps not only affects my panel glue-ups, but it also affects me over at the drill press. Now I've got a pretty large drill press table coming in at 16.5 by 16.5, but this is a problem that I used to encounter even with my smaller drill press. And this problem relates to securing smaller pieces towards the center of my drill press where the quill's at and making sure that it doesn't rotate with the drill. And you can see by the reach of some of my larger clamps, it's not even close to being able to reach my piece. Now, one solution that I found for this problem is to go the old school way and get an old-fashioned wooden screw clamp. And with this 12-inch screw clamp, I've solved some of my problems, but even this only has a reach of about 6 inches. But this can be a good solution, and even these wooden bessey clamps are still under $25, but that's not the clamp we're looking at today. So what clamp are we looking at today? Well, let's dig into it. So this clamp is the 18-inch locking Massca C clamp. Let's take a closer look. So if we take a look at the basic design of the clamp, you can see it's got quite an extensive reach, coming in at over 9 inches. You'll also notice it's got a locking handle that's similar to other clamps as well as wrenches. It's got a little knob on the end that allows you to tighten it down, and it's got 2 round pads on either side of the clamp. And I've heard a lot of good things about this brand, especially from Matt over at 731 Woodworks, and I'd really like to try out more of their tools like their pocket hole jig. So stay tuned for that, as we may dig into more of their tools in the near future, but let's dig into this one today. My first impression with this clamp is it feels very well made, very similar to the quality that you would get from a brand like Craig. Now the clamp does have a little bit of slop on the end of the clamp, but I suppose that's to be expected with a clamp this size. If we look at the vertical capacity of the clamp, which is adjusted by twisting the knob on the end of the handle, it's right around 4 inches exactly. Now you could go bigger than that, but the pads on the clamp aren't going to be parallel, so you're not going to get as good of a grip. This thing also cinches down to essentially 0. And the strength on this clamp is pretty impressive, plenty enough power to bruise up a finger. But let's test this clamp on a panel, not coming in from the short end on the seam, but coming in from the long end. And you can see how that cinched the two pieces of wood right together. So we can obviously use this clamp to have a longer reach to straighten out some of our panels, but let's go over to the drill press and see how we can use it over there. And this is where I think this clamp will spend most of its time. As you can see, it goes well over the halfway point of this drill press table, and once it's clamped down, this wood isn't going anywhere. So even though I showed you a couple of solutions to some of the problems I've been having with the reach of my clamps, I think this 18-inch Massca is an excellent addition to any workshop. So with the success of our first item, let's see if we can keep it going with our second item of the day. And our second item of the day is something that I think is a great value for the money. So one of the phrases that we hear ad nauseum in woodworking is that you can never have too many clamps, but I've got another phrase for you. What about the phrase, you can never have too many push blocks or push sticks? I think I'm going to trademark that. I'm living proof of that. I've got dozens of these in all different shapes and sizes. Some are simple and cheap, while others are complex and expensive, but they all serve a purpose in my shop. And that's to keep my sausage fingers attached to my hand. And if you're a beginning woodworker, this could be one of the most important investments that you make when you first start out. And I really like this next item for beginners, as it's a perfect mix of all these items in a compact 5-piece set. So what are we talking about? Well, let's dig into it. Our next item is the Fulton 5-piece push block and push stick set. Let's see what comes with it. Now I took a look at the Fulton tapering jig a few weeks ago, but I'm running into the same problem as I did with that tapering jig. I mean, seriously, what does that mean? Well, I'm a risk taker and I went ahead and opened it. Let's see what came inside. So as you can see, this is a 5-piece set, and in my opinion, this has got all the essentials for push blocks and push sticks that any woodworker needs. And there's even a unique one in there that I'm guessing most of us don't have. So let's take a look at each one of these individually and see how we can use them. First off, we have the standard bird's mouth push stick, and this thing's got a really comfortable handle and it will give you support as you push your wood through the table saw. For our next item, I'm not sure whether or not this is a push stick or a push block. Leave a comment and let me know what you think it is. Either way, this is one of my favorite designs for pushing wood through the table saw. As you can see, it's got the boot design. With the heel on the back, this will give support to the back of your wood as you push it through the saw. It also has the sole of the boot to give you support to the top of your workpiece as you push it through the saw. You'll also notice on the bottom of the boot is a little notch that's cut out. This will ensure that you always have 2 points of contact as you're pushing your wood through. Our next 2 items in the set are push blocks, and each of these push blocks has a little bit different design. Both of these push blocks have the exact same footprint, being 3 inches wide by 6 inches long. If we flip the push block over, you can see there's a soft foam rubber pad that will easily grip onto your wood. The difference between these 2 push blocks has everything to do with the grips on them. Let's go take a look. If we look at the top of the push blocks, you can see the one on the right has got a handle that's offset a bit, while the one on the left has got an angled grip. The push block with the angled grip can not only be used at your table saw, but it's also an excellent choice for pushing wood through tools like your jointer. The block with the offset handle has really got a unique design. With its comfortable grip, you can place your thumb right on the top of it and push your wood comfortably through your table saw or your jointer. The last item in the set is a push block that I'm guessing most of us just don't have. This block's got a design that resembles a hand plane, having both a tote and a knob. And this is a design that I'm really excited about, as I think this will be an excellent choice over at the jointer. Having this much contact with your wood as you run it through the jointer is really going to be a game changer. So whether you're a beginner or a seasoned veteran, I'm guessing most of you don't have all these designs for push sticks and push blocks, and this could be a great addition for any shop. Well, that takes us through our first 2 items, and I'm really pleased with both items so far. Before we move on to our third, I ask you to do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment. It really does help out this woodworking channel. Also, if you're interested in any of these tools, just like with all my videos, I'll leave links in the description below so that you can go check out those tools for yourself. Lastly, I've just released my new website, www.flynndoggwoodwork.com. On this site, you'll be able to find shop updates, tool recommendations, as well as fun woodworking accessories like all the t-shirts that I wear in my videos. So if you're interested in any of these items, please check out my website, www.flynndoggwoodwork.com. That's www.flynndoggwoodwork.com. Now let's get back to the video. So our third item of the day is something that I guarantee you use on almost every single project that you do. And that's because it's a necessity to get that fine finish look that we're looking for in our projects. But it's something that almost everybody hates to do, and that's hand sanding. And one of the best investments that I made when I first started out to make this process just a little bit more tolerable was to get a sanding mouse. And if you don't have one of these, you need to get one. These mice not only have a comfortable grip with 3 notches cut out for your fingers, but they also have a Velcro backing. And this is what you attach a 5-inch orbital sandpaper piece to. And those mice are dirt cheap. In fact, you can also get those for under $25, but that's not what we're looking at today. What we're looking at today is a revamped design of this sanding mouse that I thought was worth taking a look at. And this design is what I would call a space-age design. So let's go take a look. So this next item is called the Lunar block. Let's unbox this and see how it compares. So inside the packaging, you're going to get the Lunar block itself along with 3 pieces of sandpaper, 80, 120, as well as 220. If we look at the mouse itself, you can see it's got craters all along the surface, thus the name Lunar block. Now, in my opinion, these are more dimples, similar to a golf ball. It's these dimples or craters that are made for your fingertips so that you can create different grips on the sanding block depending on what you're sanding. And I really kind of like this, especially the dimples on the very front of the mouse, as I find my fingers on the old mouse creeping up to the very front and oftentimes getting caught up in that sandpaper. With the dimples in the front, it really feels like you have just a little bit more control over the mouse. The foam on the pad is also just a little bit softer, allowing you to get a better grip on the mouse. If we look at the underside of the Lunar block versus the yellow block, you can see that they both use the hook and loop system. The Lunar block, however, is just a little bit more narrow and does have a softer curve on the edges. But the real benefits with the Lunar block are going to be all about ergonomics. With its softer pad and those dimples, I'm hoping that this is going to make sanding just a little bit more comfortable. And that's why I thought it was worth taking a look at the Lunar block today, as I'm all about tools with new designs and checking out how they work. Well, that's going to take us through 3 items so far today and only 2 more left to take a look at. Our next item is a set. And not just a set, but an extensive set for an affordable price. Now you'll know if you've watched this channel for any period of time, I'm a huge fan of the Fat Boy pencil. And that's because it's great for marking up lumber to do your rough cuts. Not only does it have thicker lead that you can sharpen down to a really fine point, but this thing comes in a variety of colors, anywhere from red to white to black. And the longer I have this pencil, the more I reach for it for some of my finer measurements as well, as when you sharpen down the tip, you can really make some fine markings. But there's one problem with this Fat Boy. It's got a fat price. Just one of these pencils is over $17. Now you can also buy a 3-pack set for about $46 to save a little bit of money, but that's still way too much for a pencil. But the good news is I found a cheap alternative that will last you for years and years. So let's go check it out. So inside this box is the 18-piece NicPro Carpenter set. Let's open it up and see what comes with it. Now this is an outstanding set as it comes with 6 pencils as well as a few accessories that you'll probably need down the road. And I want to remind you that this entire set costs less than $25 at the recording of this video. It comes with 3 2.8mm pencils. It also comes with 3 2.0mm pencils. Not to mention it comes with 3 backup sets of lead for each one of those pencils. It also comes with some other accessories. So let's first take a look at those extra accessories, as those are just an added bonus with this set. First off, you'll notice it comes with an eraser, as well as 2 pencil sharpeners, both for the 2.8mm as well as the 2mm. It also comes with a spring-loaded center hole punch and a backup punch. Lastly, it comes with an awl that's in the shape of a pen. Next up, this thing comes with a ton of lead in multiple colors, both for the 2.8 as well as the 2mm pencil. For the 2.8mm pencil, you'll get 6 backups of the graphite lead, as well as 3 backups of both red and yellow, and 2 backups of white, blue, and green. For the 2mm pencil, you'll get 6 backups of the graphite lead, as well as 6 backups of red and 6 backups of yellow. And from my experience, that's enough lead to last you for years and years. And I really like some of those alternative colors, as those can be great for writing on darker woods like walnut. If we take a look at the 2mm pencil, you'll notice it's very similar to any other mechanical pencil, and it's got a clip on the side. When you push the very top, the lead is pushed out through the bottom of the pencil. The 2.8mm pencil works in the same fashion. However, it does have one added feature that I think is worth taking a look at. And that feature relates to the end of the pencil. If you unscrew the top, you can see that it reveals a pencil sharpener. You can place your lead in and get your tip as good as new. Lastly, let's take a little bit of a closer look at that awl or the scriber and the center hole punch. If we take a look at the awl or the scribing tool, you can see the construction is made out of metal and it's got a little bit of heft to it and it feels very high quality. So not only can you use this like an awl for creating holes, but you can also use it like a scriber. Now that center hole punch also has a metal construction, and it's also got a lot of heft just like the scribing tool. Not only that, but it comes with an extra punch in case your first one is damaged. And it simply works by pushing down on the bottom of the punch and the spring-loaded action places a hole right where you want it. And for 6 pencils, an awl, a scriber, a center hole punch, as well as all the lead and the accessories, I don't think you're going to be able to find any other pencil set at this price point. Especially one that's this nice that will potentially last you years and years. Well, that's going to take us through 4 items today and only one more item left to take a look at. And this last item is by far the cheapest, as this item is less than $5 and it deals with a pet peeve that I have with cleanliness in my shop. So there's 2 crevices in my shop, or crevasses in my shop, that I can never get clean.
Oh, that's nasty.
The first one is my miter saw butt crack. I just cleaned this out and I can still see sawdust in there as well as some larger pieces of wood. The second crack I can never get clean is the one between the rail for my table saw fence and the tabletop. Even with a powerful vacuum, it just won't reach down to the bottom of that crack. And maybe you're not as anal as I am about those 2 spaces, but if you are, you're gonna love this next item. So this is the Trycooling handheld gap cleaner. Let's check it out. So you guessed it, this is a simple little tool that will allow you to get into some of those thinner spots. On one side, it's got a very thin brush. On the other side, it's got a very thin scraper. Now this is one of those tools that I'm guessing will have a variety of different uses in your shop that will be revealed over time, as this brush and scraper has a 1/2 inch width that easily allows you to get into those tight spots. And just like that, I'm easily able to clean out my table saw crack, as well as pick clean my miter saw crack. And I can honestly say I've never had a cleaner crack. And I know this is kind of a silly little gadget, but I think more will be revealed with this tool. Well, that's going to take us through our 5th item today that's under $25. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment. It really does help out this small woodworking channel. Also, remember to check out my new website, www.flynndogwoodwork.com. There you'll find some fun apparel, some shop updates, as well as some tool recommendations. Until next time, take care as always.